And maybe as question
conference, the 8th African Population Conference that will be hosted from 18th to 22nd November 2019 by our own government here in Kampala. Every 4 years, the Union for Africa Population Studies organizes a conference on the status of African population with the aim of sharing and disseminating scientific information on key population, health, and development issues facing the continent, and also to promote the integration of research evidence in policy formulation. The conference provides an opportunity for networking and knowledge sharing between researchers, policymakers, program managers, public health experts, international development partners, and other key stakeholders in the population and development field. This also means that any policies and programs formulated are evidence-based. The African Population Conference is held every 4 years, and 7 conferences have so far been successfully organized by the Union of Africa Population Studies, Secretariat, and respective African countries. The first conference was held in 1988 in Senegal. The second was divided into 4 sub-conferences held in Kenya, Burkina Faso, Botswana, and Cote d'Ivoire. And the third conference took place in South Africa, the fourth in Tunisia, the fifth in Tanzania, the sixth in Burkina Faso, and then the seventh in 2015 was held in South Africa. In this year, 2019, the 8th African Population Conference will be held here in Uganda. The key objectives of the forthcoming conference: one is to facilitate dissemination and critical evaluation of new research findings on emerging population issues and their implications for socio-economic development of Africa; to facilitate the networking between researchers, policymakers, and other stakeholders; to enhance the visibility of African population issues on the global scientific and development issues; and identify key knowledge and methodological gaps to improve quality of science and application of research evidence in formulating effective policies and programs in Africa; and finally, to facilitate capacity building and development of analytical and communication skills of the next generation of experts in population and development. The theme for this conference is Harnessing Africa's Population Dynamics for Sustainable Development, 25 years after Cairo and beyond. Africa in general is a very young population, is a very young continent. About 40% of the population is below 15 years of age, and an additional 30%, which falls between 15 and 24 years, This demographic profile presents a unique opportunity to achieve massive socio-economic transformation through harnessing demographic dividend. The demographic dividend, is an economic benefit that arises following significant increase in the ratio of the working age population relative to dependents, children, and elderly in the workforce. So the point here is that Africa is a very young population, and we should take advantage of these young people who are energetic, ready to take risks, ready to work long hours to develop our continent. There can never be any asset greater than the population that we have, both for the continent and also for Uganda. Population is the greatest asset we have, and the asset we should utilize to develop our continent. Indicators on the continent, Africa at a glance. The current population of Africa is 1.3 billion in 2019. 1.3 billion. Imagine that massive market, based on the latest United Nations estimates. African population is equivalent to 16.7% of the world population. The total mass area, as you know, is 29 million kilometers squared, or 11 million square miles. And most of this land is ready for agriculture and for irrigation. 43% of the population is urban. The median age, that's the average age in Africa, is 19.4 years. Africa demographic dividend are shaping its present and future development agenda. Perhaps the greatest and fundamental challenge is to address the economic and social development issues of the continent that will be home to 1.5 billion people in the next 10 years. In the next 10 years, Africa will have 1.5 million people. And by 2050, Africa will be home to 2.5 billion people. Therefore, the theme for the conference, Harnessing Africa's Population Dynamics for Sustainable Development 25 years after Cairo and beyond, is very relevant to our continent. It's important to note that Uganda's population is predominantly young. Over 70% are under the age of 30 years. This young population is a potential asset for national development through harnessing the demographic dividend, which is also important for achieving Vision 2040 and the National Development Plan. Therefore, Uganda will not only share the pathway towards attaining the demographic dividend in cognizance of our vision, as well as the sustainable development goals, but will learn from countries that have advanced in demonstrating the 2017 African Union roadmap of harnessing the demographic dividend. Uganda has made good progress in the field of population and development, some challenges notwithstanding. Progress has been made in the following areas. 1, Uganda's population has increased from 14 million people in 1986 to 42 million currently. Life expectancy in Uganda has increased by 20 years in one single generation, from 43 years in 1991 to 63.3 years in 2017. Infant mortality rate per 1,000 reduced from 122 in 1986 to 43 in 2016. Maternal mortality ratio per 100,000 live births reduced from 506 in 1986 to 336 in 2016. Though we do not, wouldn't want any woman to die, but at least we are making progress in achieving that. HIV/AIDS prevalence rate, as we were informed a few days ago, has decreased from 18.5% in 1991 to 5.7% in 2018 between the ages of 15 years and 49 years. Malaria death has reduced from 20%, from 20 per 100,000 in 2016 to 9.38 per 100,000 in 2017, largely due to the distribution of insecticide-treated nets, which has a coverage of 98% across the country. Primary school enrollment has increased to 80% in 2016, literacy rate from 54% to 1991 to 75% currently, which means that 75% of our population can read and write in their own languages. The economy, as you heard a few days ago after the rebasing, and this is very good news, has expanded more than 10 times, from 9.5 trillion in 1995-96 to currently 185.5 trillion in 2017-18. You can imagine, 9.5 trillion in 1995-96 to now 128.5 trillion in 2017-2018. The GDP per capita almost tripled from 264 to 864 after the rebasing. Our target is to have 1,033 US dollars by 2020 to make us a low middle income country. And as we said, we'll be letting you know as we approach 2020. Percentage of population with access to electricity more than doubled from 11% in 2010 to 23% in 2016. The total paved road network as a percentage of total national roads more than doubled from 8% in 1986 to 21.1%, meaning we have tarmacked 4,551 kilometers in 2018. And electricity generation has also increased from 150 megawatts to 774 megawatts in 2018. So the conference venue and dates at Imperial Resort Beach Hotel Entebbe in Uganda from 18th to 22nd November, and we will be expecting His Excellency the President to address the conference as well, and the Undersecretary of the United Nations will be there to address the conference. The benefits of this conference and also the benefits of Uganda hosting this conference are many, and I'll just mention a few. Uganda will benefit from scientific knowledge and research that will be shared in the conference, in addition to the networking opportunities that will be realized through the presence of various research, demographers, statisticians, planners, and public health experts from across the country. The conference also will provide a boost to Uganda's hospitality and tourism sector as a result of the big number of guests that will be visiting the country to participate in the conference. As you know, Uganda hosted recently the Commonwealth Parliamentarian Conference, one of the largest one, and it was very successful. So we'll be building on this to host this one and many others that are coming. So ladies and gentlemen, we also have details on our website, www.npcsec.org.ug, for anyone who wants to get more information about this conference. So, but the purpose of this was to inform you that we are hosting this conference, but also use this opportunity to update Ugandans on the progress we are making, not only on the continent, but also as a country in the fields of population and development. Thank you very much.